How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire podcast.
What's happening, Honey Badgers? We are here live with my friend Rick Dhillon, and this is one of the top 200 influencer interviews where we're going to be talking about agent attraction, what's working, how are you doing it, how are you making it work, and how are you adding value to the agents you're bringing over to EXP. So without any further ado, Rick Dhillon, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Like I was just talking to you, and you were showing me the view that you're at right now.
Everybody, right?
Yeah, that's sick.
Old stomping grounds before I moved to Puerto Rico, but if you haven't ever been to Frisco, Texas, in the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters, that's what it looks like. So pretty cool little spot. The lake that I used to go to is just right way out there, and it's a fun little spot to be for sure. If you ever come to Dallas, make sure you come to Frisco.
Yeah, that's fun is. You miss it, bro?
You know what? It's funny because I'm pretty pro Puerto Rico, but it's just a different vibe here. You can get so much things done here versus there in a day. Saying like the first thing I did, I like 3 or 4 things I got accomplished. I was like, man, you just can't do that in Puerto Rico. Things move a lot slower, and so. But I miss it a little bit. But it's like going on vacation. Sometimes you go on vacation, you're ready to come home. I'm not ready to come home yet, so I like it quite a bit. But it's good to come home and visit, right?
Yeah, man.
So let's talk about the opportunity side of EXP. That's really what the focus of this call, of these interviews really are. You've been killing it from day one. I just had a feeling you were going to do the things you said you were going to do, which a lot of people don't. And you've been having some success. So let's talk about the numbers. Where are you at with your Rev Share group? How long you've been with the company, and kind of give me some of that.
I'm going to talk about the numbers, man. I just want to say, I know I'm going to embarrass you, but you're an amazing leader, bro. You inspire me just by watching your videos and just seeing what you're doing. Like you grew 4 times. I've been here. I just did a year, and you, in front of my eyes, you grew 4 times.
Right.
And that inspires the shit out of me. So, and watching everybody else. So all the leaders in the group, I was like, my wife was watching Netflix. I was watching like Cabo and Arizona. I watched all you guys on stage. So it's inspiring. So where I'm at right now, we're flirting with 40, man. I'm at 30. We got 4 applications in, which I know are going to go through, and we're at 36. So we should be at 40 in a week or so.
Wow.
Which was my goal, a month past what I wanted to do. But, the first year I learned a lot.
Right.
I learned a lot, man. For example, I probably don't have the record to 40, but I might have the record to 25 because I just went bam, 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 bam. And then 6 months in, I was like, no, this is not really the game. That's not really the game, because I had 25, but my total was 35.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's not the game. So I really started pouring into my people, really, instead of, really focused on leadership and having those conversations, having those talks on a daily basis. And I'm really proud of the people the generals that are in the group that are really, really kicking ass. So that has really been the focus. And then the 40 really doesn't matter. It's the FLQA that matters.
Right.
So
talk about what you mean by that wasn't the game. What specifically did you figure out as you were focused on getting to 40? What do you feel like the lesson that you were learning along the way?
After I hit about 25, I'm like, okay, this isn't, if I want to do what I want to do with revenue share, I need people to help me.
Right.
I can't win a chip. I can't win a championship just being the best player on the team. I need the others. So that's what I figured out real quick. So it wasn't just about me, hey, getting agents. So it's like, okay, guys, how are we going to do this together? Right. Having our morning masterminds with our 5-6 general, that's probably 8 or 9 now. Actually, So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I had to create generals, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Meaning finding the qualities and giving them the, just being a good leader and giving the confidence, like, hey guys, you guys can do this. I got your back. Because first of all, we've been in COVID.
Right.
So I feel like a vampire that's feeding off rats and not humans. You know what I mean? Like this whole year that like we've been doing this, it's like, I want to see people, and we've been doing good. But like, wait till I can see people. So COVID really kind of messed this up.
Right.
And then just learning the game, like, getting the generals focused. And this is a thing that we can do together. However, what I'm really excited about, year one was great. The year one is a grind because first you got to get the people, then they got to come on board, then they got to sell a house, and then you finally start seeing that stuff. But in year one, we had zero pipeline. Like the pipeline I have for year two, it's exciting, man.
Right.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's and I can just tell you just from it's kind of like the book's already been written. So like when I see what Gene Frederick and Brent Gove and all those guys are doing now, it's like, well, it's just time now, right? Like if you keep doing what you're doing, the future you already know what your future is going to be. And so a lot of the people that you talk to in year one and year two don't join until year three. So like it's crazy kind of how that works, but it does. You're building a pipeline just like we do in selling houses. It's the same thing. And timing, sometimes the timing isn't right now. And you'll see a lot of those people that finally, okay, I see everybody's joined EXP. I guess I should have joined, Rick. I'm coming over, right? Like that's what starts to happen. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, so what did your group size end up at this point? Like,
we're at like I think 151.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like 150. It's awesome, man. But you know what, dude? I'm one of those guys. Like, fuck. Sorry, but like, I mean, like, I'm happy. I'm happy.
So well, I think it's really hard to get to 150. But and I've been saying this for a while now. But like, if you can get to 50, I know you can get to 500. If you can get to 500, I know you can get to 5,000. And it feels like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. It's slow going, but like if you stay time on task, the results are. And again, like you said, you got 8 or 9 generals. For those of you who are listening that don't understand that what that means is the people that you have that are focused at least some or even maybe the majority of their time on agent attraction, because that's not going to be everybody. So you want to identify those people. You want to help everybody that wants to do it. So if they don't want to, that's fine. Help them sell more real estate, add value. We'll talk about what things you're doing in that regard. Yeah. But the people that want to, and it's funny because this isn't as naturally easy as a lot of people think. I think you had a really great success of recruiting agents into EXP in your first year. Probably maybe one of the fastest of 40, and certainly in Canada for sure. Yeah. So you've had success where others have thought that was going to be easy, and I know it's not easy. So I want to talk a little bit more about what was your strategy, what did you do specifically, and then what your process is, and then what you're teaching your team. But that's this is something that takes a little bit of time, but once you get a little momentum, it starts to go with or without you, and that's where it starts to feel good. As you look up and say, hey man, 30 people joined our group this month. I didn't talk to all 30 of those people. Like that's now you're starting to see the fruits of your labor. But yeah. So
what happened? What happened there is so year one, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome, man. Like I'm gonna grab a bunch of people. I'm gonna introduce them to Jay Kinder. I'm gonna go. This is gonna be easy. And then I don't know. Like I love Canadians, man, but they're like, Jay's in the U.S. I'm like, shit. he is in the U.S. And like he's like, so how does this work in Canada? So year one was a grind. So I'm looking forward to year two. So where we ended, I did 40, but honestly, out of the 150 people in our organization, I probably talked to 145. Right. So, I was a guy that was doing the presentations. Luckily enough for me, I've been blessed with selling some houses. I've been in the business for 16 years. So I have some clout in the area. Right. So I was the guy that was taking the 3-way calls, and I get them to you when I can, or at least I prep them. And then I'm like, hey, this is a guy that's doing it. But a lot of the people here, so the struggle was this. It was really new when I came on last year. I don't know if you remember that phase when people like, what's this XYZ? What does EXP stand for? Like, now this year we hit the tipping point where at least people know what it is. I mean, there was an opportunity when nobody knew what it is, so I respect that. But that was more like of a slow flow. So now the people that are coming on, like I got an Instagram yesterday. Hey, Rick, I'm joining EXP. How do I join? Like, I never got that a year ago.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And that pipeline that is filling up, we never got that a year ago. So the formula is basically this. We do a Wednesday and Friday Zoom presentation, 1:00, where I go over the model, kind of tweak that a bit. I did a 20-minute video now where I get my generals to send out. So at least they know a little bit about the model before they come on to the Zoom presentation. We send them your videos. We send them all your guys. So I didn't change the process.
Right.
I just kind of added another face to it for people that want to see, a Canadian face. So, but right now, man, we're in Mexico, we're in India, and we're working heavy in the US because you guys, I see a huge opportunity there. So year 2, I'm excited about.
That's awesome. So yeah, and I think this is important because I think a lot of people they don't necessarily follow a process, right? So they get excited and just go talk to people. Right. And they start talking about EXP. And like you mentioned, early on, and this was the same for me, people didn't know what EXP was. So you could kind of open with that and get some traction. But it's not once everybody's heard, been pitched EXP 25 times, that's the last thing you really want to open with. Right. Like, and so what have you experienced and what are you and your team doing as far as those opening conversations and getting them interested? What does that look like?
So we're heavily focused on value, just adding value.
Right.
What do I mean by that? Well, never have a conversation about, hey, we got a whole bunch of rev share. You're going to make $100,000 a month, blah, blah, blah. No, never. So the conversation is really simple. We make a kind of introduction and you edify your upline, you get them onto your upline, and the conversation, depending if you're talking to somebody that, you care about. So what I really try to instill in my group is, look, you have a golden ticket. Come from a place of contribution, come from a place of love. If somebody is giving you a hard time, just call that elephant out of the room. If I'm calling an agent, if I'm calling Jay, you were with me in my old brokerage and you're like, hey, Rick, man, I heard about this EXP. You guys are all recruiters now. I'm like, hey, listen, man, Jay, look, I understand what you're saying and I could have thought about that. This is different. And I'm honestly calling you because I care about you. I'm honestly calling you because I got love for you. I don't care, man. Listen, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job to let you know where I'm at. And you definitely want to know where I'm at or where I'm going. I can't control. I can only control my action. Your reaction is not my responsibility. And I actually will say that on the phone.
Right.
They'll be like, damn.
Right.
Am I talking about rev share? I'm like, no, man, just come see me. So we get them on NAEA right away. That's huge for us. Thank you for that. Yep. We have our own coaching that we do, once a week. We get them on training on KV Core, script training, just getting leads, training scripts. Your son is helping us with that, which is thank you again. So that's what I mean. You've done a lot for us, and thank you for that. So we're just kind of using what you're doing and just kind of adding our own flavor and still incorporating everything that you're doing. And just kind of adding another phase. Adding more
value to, just you're stacking the value, and that's, that it just makes it harder to say no, right? Like that's the whole game here is, like if we can actually help people and help them with their real estate business, and then at a certain point, they understand the model, they understand stock, and they understand rev share, but maybe that wasn't the thing that made them move over. But if they're an influencer, or if they've had enough time in the industry to have the pains that we've all had and being in the business as long as we have, then that becomes part of their focus at some point. Or how do you introduce them to the rev share if that's not kind of the first part of the discussion?
It depends who I'm talking to, man. Right. If it's like I'm always, and even what gave me success in my real estate career was I didn't have to talk to a lot of people because my conversion was so good.
Right.
So one of the things that I do is I'll like someone like you. You're my guy. I talk to you like my guy. Right. I talk to you like, we're on a golf course. We're watching the football game. Like, hey, Jay, man, like, dude, like, how long you want to, how long you want to keep selling houses for. I mean, keep selling them, but I want to show you what we're up to. I just use my sales skills on what I did with selling houses. I close for the face-to-face,
Right.
I don't really
try. I love what you just said there. I hope everybody is paying attention, because that's what you're basically doing is you're genuine and authentically just trying to help them accomplish their goal, right? And
that's it.
And they don't know what revenue share is and how, and most, at least on the front end, they generally don't understand. Hey, there's a process I could learn. And if I'm good at sales like you are, you can adapt and learn this process, and you can build significant passive income that's life changing, right? And so you owe it to them to at least introduce them to that. And I think a lot of people miss that. They bring people on board, and there's so much value in other things that they get as far as selling real estate, but they don't take the time to be like, listen, whether you want to or not, I need you to at least understand the opportunity that you have here, right?
And talking about opportunity, I don't think you need scripts and stuff if you really internalize the opportunity.
Right.
Man, I'll tell you, I'm saying it live, man. I'm so very thankful to you and Andre, the people that introduced me. I mean it. I'm so thankful to Glenn Sanford, dude. Like a guy like me, I should just be selling houses. So like, I know from the bottom of my heart, not even know, I feel in my heart that this opportunity is good for anybody. So I'm not doing any convincing.
Right.
I'm walking that shit.
Right.
I'm walking that. I'm feeling that. Like if I'm talking to a team, I already know you're after a 15 to 20% gross profit. Yep. How do I know? Because I did it.
You did it. Yeah.
I did it. I don't care what if I'm talking to, now we're talking to teams and brokerages and stuff like that. I'm not going to name them, but I know how much money a broker's making. So they'll go back to the team. I'm like, so in my team, like let me be very vulnerable with you right now. When I ran a second tier real estate team. What I mean, I never hit the, like the top 500 houses because I didn't, in my heart, that wasn't my passion. Right. I got real estate, like solo agent, started a team. I kicked ass in the team. I was top 1% in the country. Okay. But I never hit that top 0.001%. And I kind of like, when I put my head in the pillow, I was like, man, why aren't you doing this? Because I know my personality. It's because that 15 to 20% didn't do it for me. I'm like, why am I going to go get 2 million GCI and only keep, 400,000? It wasn't smart math. So now when I'm talking to a team, I'm like, guys, like you're going after 20% gross profit. I'm not saying don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not saying that's just personally not for me anymore. I'm saying go kill it, but add to it. There is a better way that you can do this because in the EXP model, if you're running a team, okay, you're going to get better quality agents, bar none, on your front line, on your second line. I'm still doing 50-50 splits with my team, but they don't have to go under my umbrella. Right. They keep their identity. I'm getting better quality agents because, I don't have to recruit. I don't have to train, just a killer. Right. And I'm like, hey, killer, listen, I got a deal here for you. Go get it. Whatever. I'm a nice guy. I'm like, give me 40%. You take 60. It's all in a, silver platter for you. Go get it. So that team model works a lot better for me because I don't go home with the stress of like, so-and-so needs a lead. So-and-so needs a deal, man. I got 20,000 in overhead this week. Like I don't have any. Right.
Yep. Yeah. And like you said, the quality of conversations you can have is different because, there's certain people if they're doing 20 deals on their own or even 15 or 20 deals on their own or more, they probably would never join your 50-50 team, right? Like that was.
Yeah, exactly.
So the quality of the conversations you're having with agents that join, and this is a big deal. Some teams come over and they never see this and they only see it as a way to grow their team. And that's fine. You can grow your team as big as you want at EXP and no harm, no foul. But this opportunity does create an opportunity for you to talk to people that you probably normally would have never talked to about joining your team. That's what I'm hearing anyway.
100%, man. Then and the team model with this thing, and like you and I know this, but how do you get off that treadmill, man? Like, go ahead, sell 200 houses a year. You got to go do it again next year. I mean, we heard this story on and on. Like, I was on that treadmill. So when I saw, my story, So I'm like, I paid for coaching. I paid $30,000 a year. I'm like, if we're going to do this, let's do this. And the coach stood in front, and I'm like, he's like, okay, guys, we're after 15 to 20% gross profit. And I'm like, my heart sunk, and I'm like, damn, I always knew it, but I'm like, okay, that's what you're teaching us. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'd rather sell a bunch of homes on my own. And I got heavily into developing. So one of the things that really helped me, focus so much time on year one on rev share. I still sold my houses, but I had a big portfolio of real estate. I learned real estate, and as I learned real estate, I'm like, I better invest in this stuff. And here in the GTA, dude, like the homes that I bought like a decade ago, they tripled.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I sold some of them, and now I'm building condos in the GTA and in Vancouver, and that was my exit strategy. Having said that, having people say, hey, they're impressed, you're developing condos. I will stop because I have never, ever in my entire life in real estate seen an opportunity like RevShare.
Right.
I've never seen it.
Yep.
It's not even ROI. It's ROE, return on effort. And I can put an effort all day, man.
Right. Yeah. It really truly is the opportunity of a lifetime. And I'm fortunate to be here as well, man. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, okay. So
hey, let me ask you a question. I got one for you. I need some advice, bro.
All right.
My wife tells me, Rick, you should celebrate wins. And I'm like, no, I can do more. So like, I'm happy about the 150 or whatever, but like, where do we go from here, man? What's my journey looking like? Because you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So the 40 is there. FLQAs, I worked hard on.
Yeah.
So I would get on the calls with my front line, get them leads, close. So I've counted it, by August, we'll be at 27 FLQA.
Nice.
That's going to be a game changer.
Right.
But anyway, I want to learn from you, man. So 150, where do we go from here?
Yeah, for sure. So the good news is, hopefully, is Canada still locked down? Are you guys able to fly out of Canada yet?
As of mid-July, we're good to go, man.
Right. Well, that's the good news, because events, I think that the layer that you haven't got to really experience is leveraging live events.
Right.
And there's going to be some good ones coming up, the later half of this year with, we got Dallas, the event in Dallas, and we have our event that we're doing in St. Thomas, and then of course, EXPCon. But getting people to events, big decisions happen at big events. And so getting your people, your generals to those events, and ideally getting them to bring somebody that, that's that I always say the tallest trees have the deepest roots. The people that are the hardest to get, if you can get them around a lot of people that are at EXP having a lot of success, it does a lot of the heavy lifting. And for people that are interested but not there, it's the number one thing I've seen help get big people over, right?
Yeah,
move over.
So I heard you say before, like, if you get to 50, you can get to 500. If you get to 500, you get to. Is that true, bro?
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Absolutely, because there's no way. Well, and just like where you're at, there's no way you can get to 150 without having eight or 10 people that are seriously interested, maybe not fully engaged, but seriously interested in revenue share. And you got to keep them motivated, and you got to keep them getting wins and successes. And so, and the fact that you're doing the weekly calls and there's a little bit of accountability, it sounds like there, and certainly some support where they don't just go back to the grind of selling houses, and forget about revenue share as an opportunity. And so, that's the key. But once, now that you in your words, not mine, the eight to 10 that you have that are generals, some people you'll bring over are leaders, and they're going to focus on it. And you don't even need to check in with them. And they're going to do it with or without you. Yeah. Right. And you're not going to get very many of those, right? But they'll start to show up in your revenue share group in different levels, and they won't need you. They might leverage you a little bit, but they won't truly need you.
So the magic number is 500, eh?
I think 150 is really is a big turning point for a lot of folks that have hit 150. Going to 500, it tends to speed up in terms of the growth, which right now the growth rate that we're seeing is kind of all over the place, in your first year. But
I'm getting about 25-ish a month now.
Right. Yeah. So you have a much higher, like if you continued at that growth rate, which is, what is that? That's 20%, right?
Yeah.
Well, so 20% is double what's normal. It's actually probably triple what's normal in terms of like the overall company's growth rate. Our group, at 6,000 plus agents.
That probably won't sustain because I was doing a lot of those on my own. So yeah, I get it. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right. So yeah. So it will for it'll probably sustain for a little while because you will have created people that are going to go out and do what you can do. Right. So they'll start as they get a little group of 15, 20, 25 underneath them. They'll start doing three-way calls, for their group. Right. And so like that's when you start to see it's duplication. Right. Like they're doing exactly. They learn that, man, I don't need. You did the same thing. Right. You're like, man, I don't need Jay for this one. Right. Like in the beginning, you put me on a handful of calls. Right. And then you're like, shoot, I can do this. I understand what, the process. And then you took it over for your group. Right. And so that will happen within your group. And
honestly, man, I wish you can do them all because you're better at it than I am. But the problem is, like, these guys can get a hold of me. And that whole Canada thing. But no, we are definitely going to US and we're gonna use it, man. I have no ego. Like I tell people, if you can use somebody else on the upline, man, that just 100%. Makes my life easier, man.
Right.
And like it's gonna grow faster.
Right. Yep. Yep. You're just, it's leaders creating leaders, right? And so
what's the average growth rate that you guys use, like percentage wise?
I would say up to 1,000. It's probably north of 10%. I would say.
10%.
I think what the average is right now, and at the stage that I'm at with almost 7,000 agents now, it was at 10% the first quarter, but it's probably going to average closer to like 7% growth rate, maybe 6%, 6 to 7%, which is and for those of you who don't have an Excel spreadsheet open to know what that means, to double, if you want to double anything compounding monthly, it's 5.95% growth per month. So it's not, doubling sounds like a lot, but 5.595% or 6%, let's call it, is not that much, right? So it's just, and at the rate that you're growing, you're doubling, like you said, right as we started the call, you watched me, double almost 4 times, right?
Crazy, bro.
Right?
That was insane. And it was impressive when I joined. I'm like, what, Jay, that's how you living? And now I'm like, whoa, dude,
it's
inspiring, man.
That's what makes this opportunity what it is. It's understanding the 8th wonder of the world, as Einstein had said, was the compounding of interest. Well, agents compound the same way. Your growth of agents, every month is, now you have 125. Next month you have 150 agents that are that's 25 more agents that are telling more agents, right? And it just continues to compound and grow. And so, so I mean, I would expect to see a similar pattern this second year for you as far as 20% growth, pretty consistent, I would think. And then that means you're doubling 3 times this year, right? Like,
but our rev share checks are disgusting because like let me explain that to you real quick.
That's a good point. Yeah,
obviously, like, okay, this is a global opportunity, but year one, we're taught to make your 100. Like those are people that are in your local market. I don't know if that works that's what we've been focusing on. We stumbled into Mexico, India. I'm proud of the people in my group that have done that. But like when we got like the GTA, the average price is over $1 million.
That doesn't suck.
2.5% of $1 million is $25,000 in commission. You know what I'm saying? Literally 3-4 houses our guys are capping. So the good news here, like the 150, like I should not be getting these rev share checks. I only have 4, 5, 10, 15, 16. So I only have 4 lines open right now.
Right.
And the rev share checks, I don't want to say them, but they're so impressive. So we're doing like $1,200, $1,300 per agent.
That's significant. That's not the case, for most markets, obviously, right? So
that's the good news.
Yep.
And just lastly, year 2, looking forward to it because anybody that's grinding through year 1 like I did, I get it. We think it's easy. Yeah, I'll get 40. You know what? First, like I was the same. I got it. Like I didn't do it in 12, but I think I didn't. Well, if these go through, it'll be this month, so 13 or whatever it is. But first you got to have the conversation. Then people are going to think. So don't be too hard on yourself. They're going to think. They're going to mull it over because you have no pipeline. Then they got to come on, and then houses need to sell. So the first year, you're playing for year 2, and the group has a lot more confidence right now. They're firing on all cylinders. So, we're talking to brokerages and big teams where like 60, 70 people could come out in one shot. So I'm excited about that.
Yep. No doubt. Yeah. So yeah, it's I think this year, the making sure you're leading the leaders that you have in the group. And you should see a tremendous growth this coming year for sure. What you mentioned it earlier. I just kind of want to put a spotlight on it so people understand. It's a grind to get to where you're at. You did it faster and more consistent than most people do. But I felt like I knew that about you from the first conveation.
How did you know that, man? You said that right away. This guy.
Well, you were. Well, first of all, you had the ability to do it. And so a lot of folks, unfortunately, just don't have the time. You know what I'm saying? You can focus on whatever project that you want to focus on, right? You kind of got out of production to a place where you could focus on whatever opportunity was the best opportunity. And I knew that you knew that this was the biggest opportunity, no matter what you're doing, right? And so once I knew that you knew that and had the ability, there was no question. And I checked in with you from time to time, and I don't even know what you're like on level 7 to be or whatever, right? Like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, right? Like, I want to make sure that I can help you get going and get a little bit of momentum going, because if you do, then I know you're going to be, you're going to grow like crazy. And so, that's a win. And I think some people maybe don't think about, well, yeah, but he's so far down, and no, that doesn't matter. Like, that helps everybody else and everybody else above you. It's like lighting a fire in a basement. Now everybody else, if you got big group underneath you, and everybody else above you better start recruiting, because they're going to be leaving money on the table, and it inspires everybody, right? So that's the focus you have to have, and you have to be abundant, and you have to want to help people, and when you find somebody that is anywhere in your group that's a runner, that's a general, then you want to help those people and start to focus your time on those people. And so that's kind of the next layer. And I know you're doing a lot of that now. So let's kind of uncover what you are doing to the weekly calls. What does that look like? You've got a couple presentations that you've customized that you're doing on a weekly basis for your group, and then anything else that you're doing for them.
So we have this, we call it the accelerator program. So as soon as an agent comes on, they just accelerate their business. We also have 0 to 100 coaching, go from 0 deals to a 100. What are the fundamental pillars to make your business repeatable and predictable? So we just do that. So Mondays we just call something called a boot camp, where we're training real estate related. Tuesdays we have a coach that is training KV Core, because KV Core is the base of everything that we do. So every Tuesday we have KV Core training. Wednesdays we have script training. Once you come into once leads are coming into your KV Core, what do you say to them? How do you categorize them? It's not about closing. It's about nurturing. These are the scripts. These are the campaigns that you got to be put on. And then Fridays, we have, it's called Freedom Friday, where we do strictly agent attraction training.
Love it.
Strictly. And then we have, they hit my calendar, where we do 3-way calls. Everybody has yours, One Big Fire, that you do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Pop into that. I do mine Wednesdays and Friday, just for the local stuff, so we can go over the Canadian stuff. Dude, that's all we do, man.
Yeah.
I don't have a plan B, bro. Like, this is it.
It's so great about it is, how much value that you're actually adding to these agents' businesses, right? Like, that's the reason that this is going to be successful. This company is going to continue to be successful, is because they've got leverage us, because we want to. You get the tools, right? Like, you can have a KV Core, but if you don't know how to use it, you don't know what ads to run, you don't have someone to kind of help with some of that, which is what most agents experience at any company. Most of them don't get the technology anyways, but they don't, they had to go buy it, and they don't want to spend that money because they don't even know what to do with it if they did. But getting them to start investing in their own business, like just a couple weeks ago with this whole Dave Ramsey thing, we quit working with them years ago. Because why? Because I don't want to be dependent upon somebody else's ability to get customers and give them to me on a referral basis. Because at any point in time, they could change, right? Zillow's proven that for the last decade. They continuously change their model. So if you're dependent upon that and you don't know how to run your own ads and generate your own business, then you're at risk of whatever those sorts of leads
and lower quality leads, man. If you're not controlling your message to your market, like what I love about KV Core is I can control a message to my market, template it, shoot it off to the group, run an A/B test, what's working, what's not working. That is actual at my marketplace.
Right.
When you're looking for leads from other people, it's like somebody clicks on a picture of a house, leaves their email address and phone number. Like I can run like 3 hottest deals in Oakville. These houses will sell in a week, though. Make sure you find the hot deals, guys.
Right.
Reputation is important, right? They're going to sell in 7 days because I know they are. I might get less leads, but boy, I know those people want to buy a house. So controlling that message to your market is huge, man.
Yep, absolutely. Huge. I love it, man. I love that. So, as far as the agent attraction on Fridays, what does that look like? What is the topics typically? Are you interviewing other?
I have. So we started with we have guests on there. We had Andre on there. Al was on there last week. You're coming on there soon, man. I'm gonna get your calendar, hype up people, just show people that. Look, man, I forget the dude's name. 4-minute mile guy, right?
Oh yeah,
4-minute mile. Nobody can make. We all know the story. Nobody can, break the 4-minute mile. And this dude did it, and now all of a sudden, people started crushing 4-minute miles.
Right.
So when someone like Jay and Al and all these guys, Brent, whoever, you guys are inspiring the shit out of me and not even knowing it, man. Because just by you guys breathing and seeing what you guys have done, it gives me like 4-minute mile. Okay, it can be done. You're going to have your own struggles and everybody's journey is going to be the same. I'm not happy with the 150. To be quite honest, I said that 5-6 times, but I'm on it. We're going to get to 500 and we're going to get there quick. I'm on it. I know what we have to do different. And just showing that it can be done is absolutely huge. Did I answer your question, man?
Yeah, man, for sure. No, I love it, man. That's anybody who's watching, like, I hope what they get out of these interviews is stay the course, stay the course, real slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me and Brent, some of the guys that have been here the longest, and some of them doing over $1 million a month now. It's crazy, crazy. But they did it 1 to 2 agents at a time, and that's just how it works. So you're not. It's rare to recruit more than an average of 3 agents a month in this company.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with this stuff, man. I'm telling you, like, I've never talked to these people, but I think Gogo's my best friend. I think Veronica is my best friend. AJ Maida, Brent Gove, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese. I watch all you guys' YouTube stuff. I'm watching all your guys' speeches. Everybody, I'm like, yo, okay. That's how it's done because it's inspiring, man. And it's like, thank you guys, all of you guys, you guys are helping me without even knowing it. And people, that are watching, watch that stuff. Watch them. It's right on YouTube. Yeah. It's going to light a fire under you guys and just hearing people's stories. Best part, look, I was with one of the agents and we're working on the rev share. All right. How do we do this? How do we do that? The relationships that you build, man. We get into heartfelt talks. She told me her story. I told her mine. And I do that with all my people. We're not like anybody. Like if you're going to be fired, let's go. Like if you're with me, I'm with you. I got your back.
Right.
Loyalty and the friendships. And like, this is a different level of business.
It is.
Like I couldn't go that deep in my other brokerages, and that's not a knock to them. I couldn't.
No.
People are telling me about, their life, what's happening in their struggle with whatever it is, right? And we're family, man. And it's that is the best part because listen, I'm gonna get to 6 figures a month rev share. I promise you that. But when I'm said and gone, I'm not taking that with me. Well, thanks to EXP, I can leave it with my family.
Right.
Thank you, Glenn Sanford.
Yep.
However, it's the journey, it's the people. We did this together. It's the celebration, like
Yep.
taking somebody that, struggling to a level because of this company. That's the exciting part, man. And I learned that from you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's the most rewarding part. And, every once in a while I'll talk to someone that, that they desperately want to, start recruiting agents CXP. And there is no easy button here. There's no, everybody, some people have, I guess, some people like, some people don't like, Grant Cardone joined EXP. That's great. We all got a lift. But like Grant Cardone ain't going to build personal relationships with every single person that joins EXP. And for that reason, he's going to have a hard time building a large revenue share group. And that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong and he'll prove me wrong. But I don't believe he's going to have the kind of success that you're going to have, because we are literally holding people's hands and helping them to success. And that's, the way we used to do that before was our teams, and now we do it as our revenue share group. And we're not trying to take a cut. We're not trying to overpromise and get a slice of the pie. They're not having to pay us for these things. So like they're keeping the lion's share of the revenue. This is a different game we're playing. And I think that, that you keep in on the thing that matters most is, and it is the most rewarding, but it's also the reason that it works is relationships. That's it. Like you're building relationships. Every single person, you mentioned 145 people that joined, you talked to like almost every single one of them before they, I know you talked to all of them, but like that's what makes it all work. And, you're doing a phenomenal job of doing that. And so congrats on, building a great group and, people that you like, right? Like, there's, very rarely do I bump into somebody that's in our group that's not somebody like, oh man, I really genuinely like this person, right? Like,
Yeah.
We bring people that we don't like to EXP. We don't recruit people we don't get along with, or that are negative and are, that are not the kind of people we want to be around. So it's just, it's a beautiful thing for sure.
And you're striving after a common goal together.
Right.
See, like in other brokerages, you have your organization, your Dallas Cowboys, those are your brokers, those are whatever, right?
Right.
But with us here, we're playing on the field together. You have that nowhere else. Like these are your teammates that are helping you, that you're grinding with, that when you bring somebody on, it's the celebration. You can't mimic that at other brokerages. You just can't. So the family that gets created with that journey, can't put a price tag on that.
Right.
You really can't. I want to give a shout out to you, man. I'm gonna say this. I know. Like I'm not brown nosing you, bro. You deserve your respect. You mentioned that I was on your 6th or 7th line, right? Yeah. So I'll tell everybody that's watching real quick what kind of stand-up guy this is. Our leader in this group. So somebody else contacted me. And I just started researching. You go through that phase watching every video, blah, blah, blah. Guess who's on every video? Jay. So I'm like, I got into his calendar because of the coaching and all that kind of stuff, because I know where I got in my real estate career, I wouldn't have got that without paying for coaching. Now, when you pay for coaching, it's a slower process because your monthly check is the revenue model. That's a different story. So when he said he has a coaching and I can offer that was a big deal for me. Anyway, long story short, I ended up in his calendar, and he was my biggest influence. And nobody introduced me to Jay. I found Jay. I ended up in his calendar. And then through our talking, he was like, somebody that had mentioned it to me before. I said, hey, it's blah, 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 mentioned this to me. Next day. And like he said, he knew I was going to be a killer. Thank you for that. And I could have been on his front line. But no, the next day there was a 3-way call with another person in the group. And I ended up in the 6th, 7th line. And he honored the people. So that's the kind of leader that he is. And the reason why I'm sharing that story, you learn it from the top. I've been doing the exact same thing, man. So that one thing that you did, if you did that different, I probably wouldn't have had a strong group like I did right now. So kudos to you.
You want to see everybody win, right? So like, and there's times throughout, Mike and Al are both above 40, but they weren't, right? So like there's always a reason that you could say, well, dang man, I need this person, right?
Yeah. But that always creeps in, but you got to make the right decision.
You do the right thing every time, and that's just a philosophy I've always lived by, and that was always the right thing. And I didn't know, because you didn't tell me, you didn't like volunteer that you'd talk to somebody else. And again, when you're in investigator mode, trying to figure out, hey, well, it might be good for me to be underneath Jay instead of underneath, that far down or whatever, right? Like, so you don't really know what's good for you, what's bad for you. So you're just trying to figure it out. But yeah, some people maybe don't treat it that way, but that's,
yeah. And I didn't know how it worked.
Yeah. Right.
I had no idea. I didn't even know what 7-tiered mean. I just wanted to join EXP. So I'm not trying to I'm just trying to find the answers. Right. Who is the guys that could give me the answers? So I didn't even know how that worked. Right. Jay's like, okay, that's how it works. I'm like, oh, cool, that's how it works. You know, so that one move, guys. So look, be loyal in your group. Like, if you want a really strong group, just follow what your leaders are doing, man. Mimic that stuff. And
100%. That's it. So let me ask this question. This is one of my favorite questions. What do you think the biggest mistake that agents that want to participate in the revenue share, they want to get going, but they're not getting, it's not working for them? What do you think the biggest mistake that agents are making as it relates to the rev share?
Well, if you're going to be somebody that's going to be the face of the organization who's taking the 3-way calls, in my opinion, don't go so crazy on your, like, a race to 40. That's cool, but that's not how you win chips. Start working on the people, start building their confidence and all that kind of stuff. Work on your generals. That's how your organization is going to grow, right? It's not a race to 40.
Right.
Get there, do your thing, do your work. But if you want this to grow, I could be at 100 and my organization is 100.
Right.
That's not how this is going to work, man. And that's not fun. That's not where the fun happens. So
that's not leverage either.
That's not leverage. You're not leveraging. So I learned that like 6 months in. I wish I knew that from day one, but you got to go. I learned it pretty quick. If you're somebody that is, not like the leader growing the organization, but somebody that is helping to do that, like a general, learn to be the best inviter. Like, I mean, do not try to close, man. There's a reason why, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, these guys got paid to get the ball at the end. And really, if I can say, when you walk into the room of wherever you are, the environment, and have an environment, like I do my, like, dude, I have my, I'm not good with technology. I have these kind of things everywhere, man. Like everywhere. Lists of people. I'm old school like that. But here's the thing. Leave your ego at the door when you walk in.
Yep.
You don't have to be the guy, if you want to be the guy or the gal, listen to the shadowing of 3-way calls. Is an art, man.
It is.
There's something called 2 words. If you want to take your business to another level in anything, it's called emotional intelligence. And most people that have that kind of skill, people like Jay, people like other people that are, there's a reason why they have thousands and thousands of people. They're emotionally intelligent. They will talk to somebody like a ninja and they'll pick up on what they need to focus on.
Yeah.
They're outside of their head. They're listening. They're listening instead of talking, and they're picking, okay, that person wants that. They're emotionally intelligent enough to pick that up. So be the best inviter. If you have somebody that like that in your organization, put your ego aside and invite as many people as you can to that person, because that person can take you to the promised land.
That's right. 100%, man. That's absolutely great advice. And it's what works. It absolutely is what works. And so, man, that's great. Well said. Anything else you'd want to leave everybody with that tuned in here watching?
Yeah, like what can I said it before. If you want to grow this, internalize the opportunity. That's what I want to leave you with.
Right.
If you internalize the opportunity, the words in your mouth that come out of your mouth, it won't come out of your mouth. It won't come out of your head. Sorry. It'll come from your heart. And, really, this company is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a blessing for a new agent, to a team, to a brokerage. I understand that our biggest problem is, as Daniel Beer calls, I was laughing. I watched you too, bro. I watched you too. He calls them the knuckleheads. I was laughing. And it's so true. Like, don't be a knucklehead. If you just internalize the opportunity, you don't need a script. You just talk to people. Like, this is just a great opportunity. So internalize the opportunity, be thankful for it, work on it every single day.
Yes.
My best example, you have your Jay Kinders, you have your Brent Goves, you have all of those guys. You know who I think is a stud is Andre LaFountain.
Yep.
Andre LaFountain introduced me to this company. This guy, he never ran a mega team and all these things. He just outworks everybody. Yeah. And if you read the book Atomic Habits and work on yourself, man, like read the books, listen to audiobook, little small things over time adds up. You can't get hyped on, the middle of the week and say, okay, I'm going to go rev share and call 30 people and then don't do it for a month. No, just do it little by, like, what is it? That 2, 10, 40, do that.
That's it, man. Great advice, brother. This was a great interview, man. I appreciate your time as always. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. And I'm proud of what you're doing, and proud to be partnered up with you here at EXP, and loving this opportunity. So everybody, appreciate you guys. We'll either see you at the top or from the top.
I like that.